At the very heart of reality, there's a story playing out. It's a fundamental conflict that shapes everything you and I see and feel.
And this whole story is really defined by two completely opposing motions. Think of them like two cosmic currents, pulling in entirely different directions.
The first movement, well, it's a story of grasping, of trying to lift yourself up. It's a path that starts out looking so brilliant, but it always, inevitably, ends in shadow.
And then there's the second movement. This is a story of surrender, of humility. It's a story that walks straight into the deepest darkness to find the ultimate victory. And you know what? These two paths are competing for every single human heart.
So let's start by digging into that first path, the path of pride, and the collapse it always leads to.
I want you to picture this. Before any human throne was ever built, there was this perfect spiritual order. Everything in creation moved in this beautiful, seamless harmony with its creator. All authority, all light, it just flowed directly from God.
But then, pride enters the picture. And it's so important that we understand what the Bible means by pride. This is not just about having a big ego or high self-esteem. No, it's a deep spiritual sickness. It's the desire to seize more than what was given, to rebel against the true center of the universe and try to make yourself the center. It's really the source code for our insecurity, isn't it? That constant need to prove our own worth because we've disconnected from the source of all worth.
And this sickness, it follows a very predictable and very tragic pattern. It starts when a created being, someone blessed with so much light, turns away from the source of that light to try and generate their own. And self-exaltation always leads to a fall. We see this play out in history, don't we? Earthly kings and huge empires just collapsing under the weight of their own ambition. And we feel it in our own lives too, that ancient tempting whisper that says, hey, you can be your own God. But here's the beautiful truth. That path of pride is not the only path. Scripture shows us another way, a completely opposite movement, the way of the king. And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. Pride screams, I will ascend, but Christ whispers, not my will, but yours. Pride grasps upward for power only to come crashing down, while Christ steps downward in service and is raised up. Pride protects itself. It avoids shame at all costs. But Christ, he gives himself away completely. He embraces the cross. You see, these aren't just different strategies. They are two fundamentally opposite ways of being.
Just stop and think about this for a moment. The Son of God, the very one through whom the entire universe was made, he didn't see his divine status as something to be clutched for his own advantage. Instead, he willingly emptied himself. He set aside his glory to take on the role of a servant. This is the ultimate, absolute reversal of pride.
This radical act of humility brings us to the climax of the whole story. And it's here we see the true power of this second path, a victory found in the most unlikely place you could ever imagine.
To the watching world, the cross looked like the ultimate failure. The tomb was just silence, the final end. It looked for all the world like pride had won. But pride never, ever gets the last word. Heaven answered the world's violence and silence with the deafening power of resurrection.
So here is the crucial point. God's kingdom operates on a completely different logic than the world's. It's a divine pattern you can see right here. The way up is actually down. You step down in humility, you embrace service, you enter into sacrificial love. And it is from that place, from the very lowest place, that God brings resurrection and glory.
This is the central truth of all reality. And I know that despite all the evidence we see around us, the universe isn't ultimately governed by pride and self-exaltation. Its moral arc, its very structure, bends toward the humble, self-giving love we see in Jesus Christ.
So what does all this mean for us, right now, in our daily lives? Well, this ancient story isn't just history. It offers a profound and unshakable hope for today. You see, the story of our world doesn't end with the tragedy of the fall. It ends with the triumph of a throne, and that humble king who rose from the grave. He is not some distant memory. He is reigning now, and one day he will return in full glory. And on that day, the rebellion that began with pride will be silenced for good.
And this reality leaves every one of us with a choice, not just once, but in 1,000 small moments every single day. Are we going to follow the path of pride? Fighting for the last word, nursing that grudge, demanding our rights? That path always leads to ruin. Or are we going to follow the king down the path of humility,
choosing to serve, to forgive, to listen, that is the path to true everlasting life. And the best part is, he has already gone before us. He's shown us the way. His victory is secure, the grave is empty, and the throne of grace is waiting.
So I'll just leave you with this question to reflect on. In the quiet moments of your own life, where do you notice that subtle pull of pride? Maybe in your ambitions, your relationships, or your fears? And what might just one small step toward the humble way of Christ look like for you today?